Hi guys, so we're going to go ahead and get started on our second tutorial for today. We just finished up our hand tutorial and now we're about to work on our body. Now the difference is we're not going to draw a very detailed body, we're just going to work with the structure. And this will be very beneficial for my kids who love to tell me, Miss Fisher, all I can do is a stick figure. Well guys, this is where you go from stick figure to figure. You're welcome. So let's get started. I'm going to get started with my red marker on this. I may not use two colors just because I want us to focus personally on the structure. That's it. So when I like to start with bodies, I have to think about my joints, I have to think about my bones, and I have to think about my posture. So in this tutorial, we're just going to work with somebody who's more or less standing pretty general, like still, that's it. No dramatic thing or any of that, just for now, a simple standing pose. We're going to start with an oval to do a placement for our head. We're not going to get detailed with that, guys. So you should have a circle or a cylinder for your head, and what we're going to do is take our line here. This line represents our spine. And the reason I put that there is because the spine immediately tells me what type of pose I'm about to be drawing. Meaning, like, if I was hunched over, my spine would be more curved. If I was reaching for something, my back would be slightly curved just a little bit as I'm reaching up to grab something. But as I said earlier, we're just doing a standing pose. So, should kind of look like a balloon. So we have our head, we have our spine. We have to think about, before we start drawing our shoulders, we need to keep a space for our neck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a horizontal line a little bit away from the circle. This way I have a neck that I can move. So I like to say this is my collarbone because I just like to think about like where this part is, where this straight line is. Fun fact, cats and dogs do not have collarbones. That's why they're able to squeeze between fencing. We can't do that. We have collarbones. It stops us. Moving on. So just like what we did with our tutorial with our hand, when we talked about joints and Wes representing them as circles, we're going to do the same thing in this. So if I have my head, my neck, and now my collarbone, I'm going to think about the joints that are attached to it, which would be my shoulders. I'm allowed to move my arm whichever way I can. And so what I'm going to do is create a circle here and here. Similar to when we did our hand with the finger, we know that our finger has 3 joints except for our thumb. Well, if you look at your arm, you have 3 joints, guys. We have our shoulder, our elbow, and our wrist. 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to use the same concept as we did with our fingers to create our arms. So we're going to create a straight line because there is a bone right here. And then we're going to create our joint for our elbow. We're going to create a line for our forearm. And a circle for our wrist. Now, unlike when I did my hand, which is super detailed, we're only going to use a square for placement. Just like how we used an oval for our head, we're just going to use a square for the hands. There, hands. So let's come back up to where our shoulders are. And we're going to talk about the torso. The torso is broken up into 3 parts. So we're going to start with the chest. And when I create this shape, I'm purposely going to start not underneath directly where the circle is, but actually beside the circle. And here's why. If I'm able to lift my arm up straight, this is a straight line. When I bring it back down, there is a fold. So up, down here, fold when it's down. So that is why I'm putting it right here. All we're going to do is create a rectangle. And there you have a chest. Next, we're going to do the second part of our torso, and that's the rib cage. Your ribs will start out wider in your chest and go a little bit smaller towards your belly button. So to help represent that, we're going to do 2 short diagonal lines going inward I might kind of go maybe in a little bit more. There we go. And just again, horizontal line. So now we have our chest, the top part of our torso, our ribs, the second part, and now we're going to work on our waist down to our hips, the third part of our torso. What I'm going to do is the same thing as we did with our rib cage, but I'm going to reverse it. So we're going to do a diagonal line out, another diagonal line out. This is going from our chest, our ribs, to our waist, to our hips. And I'm going to make another line across to show that. Next, what we're going to represent is the pelvis. And we're going to be using an upside down triangle to show that. So all I'm going to do is make a triangle as such. I do apologize if you hear a squeaky sound in the background. There is a bird in my classroom in the vent or somewhere. I don't know, but I've been listening to it all morning and it's not fun. And I don't know how to get it out. So moving back to the body. So we have our shoulders, our chest, our rib cage, our waistline to our hips. We have our pelvis. And now we're going to go to our joints, which is our hips. It is what our legs are attached to, and it's allowing us to move just how our shoulders are moving. So again, to represent that, we're going to show that by doing a circle. And well, I can't show you my legs, so I'll use my arm as an example anyway. So if this were quote unquote my hip, and then I have my thigh, I know that's a muscle, not a bone. We still have this line here. And then I would have my knee, and then I would have my femur, and then I would have my ankle, and then my foot. So we're going to still follow the same process as we did with our arms, just a little bit longer because it's our legs. So again, I'm going to create a line to show my thigh area. I'm going to create a circle for our knees, another short line for our femur, a circle for the ankles, and just as we did with our hands, we're going to represent our feet with a simple shape. So I'm going to create a rectangle or a box, whichever I kind of feel like. And there, we have a body structure. So I know you hear this a lot in my class. I do not say that this is the right way. I don't say this is the wrong way. This is just how I have learned over the years and what makes it easier for me to draw, especially from my head. I'm really good about drawing things that I can clearly see, but if it's coming out of here, that is great. So I've used these techniques to help me get a little bit better in my illustrations. So if you have any questions about the body structure, either in class or let's say you've missed my class or it's a remote day, then please send me an email on Schoology or email me directly, whichever works best for you guys. But other than that, I hope you have a great day, and I'm going to move on to our next tutorial for eyeballs. Thanks, guys.